Hiya, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sean Hills, and welcome to A Soul's Experience, a channel dedicated to helping the human race remember who we are. Like a boomerang, he is returning again. It is James Hills, psychologist and spiritual student, along with all of us learning about unconditional love, and my brother in real life along. How magical is that to have your own one of your family members along on a spiritual awakening at the same time with you? It is magical this time of year. James, how are we doing?
Yeah, we are doing great, and it's nice to be back on the show. And it's only been a short period,
Yeah.
so yeah, very excited. And you're looking healthy. You're looking good.
Cheers, buddy. Yeah. That's it. Do you know,
Yeah.
I haven't worked out for I think coming up 5 days now. But do you know when if you exercise regularly, a bit of rest can do the body wonders. I actually feel that little 6 days or 5 days without working out. I feel re-energized, ready to get back on doing something a bit active. You know, it's been the holidays. It's been the kids have been on holidays, haven't they?
Yeah.
You know.
That's it. So they take your time.
Yeah, finding the time. And
it's moving, working.
Yeah. It gets busy. Life gets busy. And talking of kids, I think we'll jump straight in. We're going to jump straight into a topic here that I'm fascinated by at the minute, and I'm not the only one because it got so popular that this topic we're about to talk about, it knocked Joe Rogan off the top of the podcast list. If not only for a brief period of time, I've done some research and I think Joe Rogan might be back at the top, but it's right up there. And so what is this? What is this topic? It's the telepathy tapes. The telepathy tapes. Have you heard of that, James? I think you introduced me. Did you introduce me?
Is that I might be going off topic. Was it like the Secret Service?
The secret
try to nation to kind of remote view through telepathy. Is that right?
No, there was a secret program. No, there was a secret program where CIA agents were trained in remote viewing, which is astral projection almost. It's being able to being able to view other parts of the planet or the universe, or our surrounding area without actually being there. Being able to remotely view through physical objects and actually view, and plan missions based on what these people had seen with psychic powers. But the telepathy, or a lot of that stuff it's very easy when you hear about stuff like that. People just go, yeah, whatever. But recently, it hasn't been going on recently. It's been going on for a long time. I've looked, there is a woman called Dr. Diane Powell. Now, she has released a documentary recently which blew up. It's everywhere, called the Telepathy Tapes. And it's about children, autistic children, or children with disabilities, a lot of them really severely autistic, having telepathy, being able to read people's minds and hear thoughts. And it's documented. She found this proof. Right? I've got it written down here.
I just remember what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah, they were mind reading. So what these kids were doing was the mum would go on the other side of the room or the other side of the house, hold up a card, and it would have a number on it or something on it, a name, a word, and the mum would think, oh, what's on that card? And from the other side of the room, the child 100% of the time was like, that's +2, and on the card it would say +2, and then they'll go, what number am I pointing at? 1. Now what number I'm pointing at? 3. Now what number am I pointing at? And every single time, the kid, like, I can read your mind. And so the woman Dr. Diane Powell was so fascinated by this that she went and studied, and the results came out as exceedingly accurate. Not fairly accurate, not good, exceedingly accurate. Pretty much perfect. And even though the results came out exceedingly accurate, she had her medical license taken off of her when she found out when she started studying. She was a doctor, and when she started studying this topic, they took her medical license off of her to the point She went and had and done where they assess you. She done an assessment, a mental assessment, to prove she was sane, that she hadn't gone insane.
Yeah.
And they even proved, this is how accurate these tests were. They proved with a QEG exam what they do on the brain. They put all the sensors on your head and on the brain, and they measure electrical waves with a QEG sensory brain examination, and they found increased in these children that were doing telepathy. They found scientifically increased energy activity all over the brain. There was increased activity, and the person doing the study said if they had found no change in the brain whatsoever, then they would have been really skeptical. But the fact the whole brain is lighting
Mhm.
up with extra activity that most people do not possess, it doesn't show up like that. He said he was convinced. So, I mean, imagine that. Imagine doing tests, scientific. You're a doctor.
Yeah, I mean, what I loved about this study is that took a scientific approach, the way that we do psychological studies, where she removed all of the variables that influencing um, influencing the results, and yeah, it was done in such a way where it was very hard to disprove that it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm surprised they took her license. What do you think that's about?
Well, from what I know now about the world, there are certain people that don't want us knowing about these gifts, that humans can possess these gifts, and it could be many levels. There could be the main basic level would be the medical profession coming from a place, and the scientific profession coming from a place of fear, because if she's proved this to be correct, all of what they know about science and medicine can get thrown out of the window. And all of the conspiracy theorists that have been saying this stuff to be true for years now will be proven to be correct. And that will just throw
Mm,
everything into question, because after we find out telepathy is real, then we can find out self-healing the body is real. Then we don't need pharmaceutical companies. Then very rich people
mm,
go bankrupt. And there's very, very, very
yeah,
powerful people on the planet that don't want us knowing that we can heal ourselves, that we can, if we can communicate through our minds, what do we need a smartphone for? If we can find
yeah,
out information through our own system, and accurate, unbiased information, then what do we need Google for? If we can
yeah.
put,
Well, the incredible thing is, Sean, is the children that the studies were done on, they really were autistic. You know, it wasn't
yeah,
put on,
that's
and
right.
I have autism for many years. And the one thing I can say is that they don't lie. They don't put on an act. They very much are their own person. So maybe we could leave a link on the description to the
Yeah,
documentary, because I would just encourage everyone to watch it. And the fascinating thing is, from this study, don't quote me on this, but a lot of the autistic children spoke about meeting each other on the hill.
oh wow, I didn't
And
see that
I
bit.
yeah. Well, I'll try and find out more information about it next time. But I think what they were referring to is mentally they were all visiting each other in this place,
Wow.
and they would quote things from each other that they nation. And bearing in mind, these children are like really autistic in their rooms.
Yeah.
That you know it. How do they get that vision? And when you they say, "Oh no, we go in our minds to a place called the Hill and we meet." I mean
Wow.
that it just it blows my mind. And another interesting thing that came from that documentary is um, a child came from school, and he ran out the car, and he was shouting to his mum, "Where are the crystals?" And the mum the kid runs in and goes through every room and picks up all these crystals. Now,
Yeah.
the thing is, mum was giving them crystals as a gift. The child was at school. She did not find son at school and was like, "Oh, I've just got loads of crystals."
Yeah.
He got out the car and he sensed the crystals, and he
Wow.
just ran in, pushed his mum out the way. Mum was just
Yeah.
blown away, like, how is my child just picked up all this energy, and how did he know about the crystals? And when mum asked him, the child was like, "Mum, I saw you. I could see you in my head getting the crystals, and I sensed the energy, so I knew where they were." Now, I just think it's incredible, and I think you're right. I think there's a lot our species can that. I think that I don't know if it'd be the government or just the people that hold the power just don't want us to find out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
I mean,
absolutely love it. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy because you assume that science and any kind of profession that is about exploring and doing experiments and pushing the boundaries and all that sort of stuff, you just assume that if there's any kind of breakthrough in this area, or there's an area that's still a theory and actually hasn't been answered yet, you'd assume that if other people come up with other ideas to think about other ways to do it, that they would be jumping on it. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try that. Let's try that. But what happened was, unfortunately, is loads of books got published and loads of books got sent around all the high schools and the colleges and the universities. And the people that wrote these books, obviously, they became very wealthy. And that was the book to follow then, this theory of relativity, this theory of evolution. And people, who owned them rights to them theories, or the establishments that owned the rights to them theories, could sell them books in the masses and could sell the papers in the masses, and you could just go along with it. And if you was a scientist that just went along with it, then you'd be accepted into the little club. But if you were someone like Graham Hancock or one of these other scientists that pushed the boundaries, and you came out and said, well, actually, I don't think the pyramids are 5,000 years old. I think they are much, much older. And I think human civilization started way further back than we're being told in our schools. Then they are shunned. They are given no funding. They aren't allowed to complete their work. They're not given the right funding to be able to go and explore, and the same kind of funding and grants that the other scientists will get. Their papers won't be published. They'll be shunned by their friends, their colleagues. They'll be told they're an idiot and disgraced online and told they're stupid by haters. But these are the people. Right, these are the people that the world is shaped that way, or it has been for a long time, to submerge the truth and keep us from knowing who we truly are. But we're in the age of Aquarius, James. The age of Aquarius. Yeah, you know what I mean? Coming out the age
But
of the Pisces.
it's a good point. It's a good point, mate. I mean, if you think about what life is, okay, it came from the Big Bang. It just rapidly even got here. So for people to say, "Oh, like, let's say the telepathy is," sorry, I can't speak today. Let's say if they say, "No, that can't be real. It's fiction."
Yeah, fiction. Yeah,
Actually, think about what we are. That surely is fiction.
yeah,
And like, if you ask people 100 years ago, we'll be sat here with VS. They think, "Oh,
yeah,
shut up. No, that's alien technology." But now here we are.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like, what is the possibilities in life? And I just think we've scratched the surface. I really do. And I just think we're living in very exciting times where people are going to start waking up to not only not only the advances in technology, but the
Yeah,
realization of the power of our species.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
believe we hold a lot of power. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, knowing the power that we hold and knowing that if over lifetimes or even in this lifetime after the Great Awakening, we could come into our power, after knowing this, would you accept getting technology or AI put into your body? You know? Or would you want your
See,
body? There's no
See,
right or wrong answer.
I actually, yeah. See, I love AI.
Yeah,
I think what it can accomplish is amazing.
amazing. Yeah,
It's just super intelligent, and its IQ is far greater than any human, in my opinion.
yeah,
Um, so I think the future it's about working with AI. I think what is important is that we don't lose ourselves as a species in terms of our spiritual self.
yeah,
Um, because they're like everything, there has to be a balance. Because that's how life was created. That's how the universe was created.
yeah,
Balance. So yeah, nice it. I don't know if I would like it like put in me as like a chip or something, but
yeah,
I'd certainly have a phone with it on,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
by me.
yeah. So I was thinking. So right, with AI, right? Let's think about some of the things I've heard. What they can do with putting it in your body. So the first thing that's going everywhere at the minute is they're coming up with this way of using AI to be put into the body to detect cancer, so it can go after the abnormal protein and attack just the cancer cells without like chemotherapy or something like that, which attacks the whole body. It's saying that AI is going to go into the body and it's going to find the cancer cell and it's going to kill it. I mean, if it does what it says on the tin, can that be bad? You know, if there was zero chance of it going wild inside you, going rogue and attaching to your brain and controlling you and sending you on a rampage, like if it was completely controlled, there was no weird side effects, like your ears were gonna fall off, or it could kill 1 in 100 people, or like if there was a safe way. I mean, it sounds good, but then what? How much do we know ourselves
Yeah,
about what it?
and you got to look at our history as a species. What do we do best? Organize everything, and we make profit out of everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, like
Yeah.
that happens, and in 200 years, they'd be like, oh yeah, the only a certain class of people would have it because it would cost, they would charge,
Yeah.
and you can imagine a posh family like oh yeah, they're still suffering, but
Yeah.
they don't have the money. And another thing, they could weaponize it. What about if they could tell the AI not
Yeah. Not
or
too.
create something, in your
Yeah.
body? You would have no idea. And it's yeah, I think it's giving a lot of power. I guess the question is, and the question's been asked about AI: who should own it,
Yeah.
control of it? Ideally, it should be the people, but it's not going to be. It will be a certain that's got
Yeah.
power and got a lot of money.
Certain group.
So yeah, it's a good question, mate. It's a good question.
Well, would you? I've heard that you could have your bank chip or a chip implanted into your skin, so you could pay things with your wrist. I've heard that you could. Oh, there was this interesting thing I saw over in China. This is a few years ago now. That 5 years ago that I saw that this happened, but I only saw it today. They were putting bands around kids' heads in a school in China, and it would have a little light on the front. And I've got it written down here. If the light went red, it meant the child was concentrating hard. If the light went white, it meant they were in la la land. As the other kids would say, they're offline. They've gone offline because they're daydreaming. So the light would go white, and the teacher would go, "Wait, stop daydreaming." If it went green, it meant they were starting to get distracted, and blue was like getting agitated or something. But the poor kids were trying to do their work, and some of them were red, like really concentrating, but some of them were doing their work and it was still white. So I don't know what was going on there. But I thought, wow, what the heck? This is intrusive. It felt intrusive. It felt like, because you can't say because a child's having a bad day, it's down because they can't do the sum. Something could be going on at home. They could be getting bullied in school. We can't play. This is the thing with technology. Technology is very, black and white, and humans have many grey areas. And so I do
Mm.
worry about if we was to try and computerize people, whether some people that already have malfunctioned genes in their brain might really malfunction with AI technology inside of them. And whether, that, like you said, people could be weaponized. They could be building a
Yeah.
whole race of robotic bionic humans that have chips in their brain that they can control, but grow like human beings. Used to once have a soul. Now they're in control.
Yeah. Well, and like I mentioned time we spoke, it you got to start asking the question about free will. I mean,
Yeah.
if this is all incorporated in our life that much, how much free will are we going to have as a individual?
Mm.
Like, if there is a bit of technology implanted in me that says, I'm not performing my best and I'm judged, like you're going to feel forced to act a certain way, which may be against what you want to be. And I know
100%.
China, they really micromanage their population to fall in line.
Yeah.
Um, Even with, I heard this theory where they tested it about in certain cities, like good citizens points, and you had to accumulate some men do certain things in a city, and it's
Oh,
that kind
okay.
of micro control they're trying to have in terms of like you have to fall in line with how we want you to be, basic things in life.
Yeah.
And I just think that takes away everything from your free will. um and we have many gray areas. We're also individual, so I think it's we're we're at we're at a really interesting time as a species, in terms of how we're going to incorporate all of this, artificial intelligence and technology into. I mean, we're already
Yeah.
being we're already being watched by like social medias.
Yeah.
They're checking our algorithms and they're selling us stuff. And the thing
Yeah.
is, people say, "Oh, we're not getting sold stuff," but it's done on a level. They
Yeah.
slowly leak it into your life, and then all of a sudden you've brought something and you're like, "Oh, that's because I wanted it."
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think you really wanted it. It's just that,
That's it.
forced to buy it. Yeah.
And because we're born into this world as babies, and automatically we look up to our parents or our guardians, and we look to them for right and wrong, and we learn from our elders and our peers, then we learn from our teachers and our politicians. As we get older, we think, we even think we can trust our celebrities. At a young age, I remember thinking that if a celebrity went on TV and lied about a product on an advert, that I would be within my right to find where they lived and demanded an apology for lying to me through the TV, because they weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah.
That was my innocent attitude as a child. I honestly believed that adults would not lie. They weren't allowed to lie because they always told us children, do not lie. You're telling porkies, if you lie, your tongue's going to grow hair or something silly. I don't know. They were always telling us, don't lie, don't lie, don't lie. And then you grow up and you realise, you bunch of liars. Yeah,
Yeah.
you bunch of
Well,
hypocrites.
look at there's loads of examples, but one of them is smoking. When smoking was
Yeah,
first a thing, they said it was healthy.
yeah.
All of a sudden, everyone's smoking, and then it's only later on they said, "Oh, actually, it's not too good for your health."
No, and now we need AI to go find
But
the
at
lung
that point, they
cancer.
got everyone hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got everyone hooked at that point.
Oh,
It's
they've done that little.
ridiculous.
They've done that trick a few times. If you look at the oxycodone, the opiate crisis in America, that was
Mm.
the Sackler family, and big family, pharmaceutical family. They were like, oh, we released Valiums. They are actually quite addictive. Sorry, we said they weren't addictive. But guess what? We've got this new opiate painkiller that is 0.1% addictive now. This is way less addictive than Valium. And they just flooded it out. And at first, it was for end of life care, because if you got addicted to opiates at the end of life, it doesn't matter, you're going to pass away, go back to heaven. But then doctors were told you're not selling enough. This needs to be prescribed for headaches, backache, knee injury, whatever, runny nose, a sore bum, whatever it is, earache. Give them these painkillers are amazing. Why are we holding back this amazing, amazing painkiller from the masses? Give it to the masses. And then 20 years later, they were like, oh, do you know, we've got a lot of addicted opiate addicts now. We better withdraw all this medication. And then they banned all the meds and made it really hard to get. So all of these people that were now addicted to opiates flooded the streets looking for fentanyl and heroin. And that's what's happened in the US of A, the great US of A. That's exactly what happened. And it's like, you've played that trick on the public so many times, but no more, let me tell you, no more.
Yeah, it's Brian Cox, who he's the scientist. Have you heard of him? He does a lot of
Brian
space
Cox,
talks and presentations.
Yeah, he's cool.
He said he said a really good line. He was asked, how would you feel about an alien civilization? And he was like, I would love it, because if we are the only species, we are not doing a very good job, because we're messing it up. So he would welcome them to be more intelligent life, because, if you look at the world, we're not. There's still people starving out there. We're still like robots. It worries me. It worries me.
Well, yeah, I mean,
same as you. I kind of. Yeah, go on.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, if you look at the way humans behave, not on so much on an individual basis, because if you was to be a fly on the wall, in the home of the average person, you will find people who love each other, who love their animals, who love their children, who are just trying to earn a wage so that they can afford a nice little holiday. Maybe they can afford a little gift for their spouse. Maybe they can afford a little treat for themselves now and again if they work hard enough. And people are just trying to work and get by so that they might still enjoy the little pleasures of life. No one's, it would be lovely to be wealthy and to have a really big house with a swimming pool and all that. But really, on a deeper level, people just want a family to love and a family to love them, and to be able to enjoy the little creature comforts in life, a warm chair to sit in, a house with heating, a bit of food on the table. People don't ask for much. But, sorry, I just knocked something off there. Hey. Yeah, people don't ask for much, but if you look at the way we've been, this comes back into what you were saying about the subliminal messaging, the advertisements under your nose that you don't notice, and the way we're corralled into a certain universal way of being, a sense of this on this planet. Systems, because we're individuals, but we're also a system. And you can't beat the system. Well, we haven't been able to beat the system, but I believe the system is crumbling. And this is where the system that has held us in place for so long, and it's held us living paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to paycheck, and just trying to get by. That system that holds all the power at the top, and then the rest of us, the rest of the 99%, all the power at the top, and the rest of us with struggling, while some people get, like you said, there's people still hungry on planet Earth in 2025. What is going on? That shouldn't be. There are still people living on benches and in the mud and on the ground, freezing cold, when there should be enough housing for people. And if you look at the Earth, I don't care what people say about overpopulation. If you look at the Earth, most of it is barren and unpopulated. And most people are squashed into these tiny little areas. Most of it is just unpopulated and there's nothing there. And surely with the technology we have, if we needed to start building out into the water, why couldn't we? Dubai built whole islands with hotels on. They sucked up this amazing. You should look at I think it's called Palm Island in Dubai. It's a massive long island with a massive motorway, a highway on it, which branches out, and from space it looks like a huge palm tree. And it's
I've seen that.
and on
Yeah,
the palm trees are hotels and towns and little villages and houses, and they sucked the sand from the bottom of the ocean bed on these massive giant boats. They sucked the sand from the bottom and piled it on top of each other till they built their own island into that shape. So we have the technology to build into the oceans. Yeah, we have this technology. So and the world is covered with empty space. So there's no reason, unless there's a bunch of greedy people somewhere taking most of the wealth for themselves and doing whatever they can to keep that wealth for themselves and to keep people. They're not even
yeah,
deliberately trying to keep people low. They're just trying to keep everything for yourself. And if you have a group of people that ain't sharing, you're going to end up with lack somewhere else. If someone is taking all from this side, there ain't going to be none left over this side. Do you know what I mean? Because it's all gone one
mm,
way. But you know, I honestly know we're in a time. We talked about it last time. We're in a time of great awakening where even I've got it down here. You spoke about the Big Bang Theory earlier. Now, with
yeah,
technology like the James Webb telescope, they have seen really old ancient galaxies which are displayed with red light. The young galaxies and nebulas which are displayed with blue light. They give off a blue light. They've picked up galaxies really, really old where they shouldn't be at the beginning of the Big Bang. Now, if this is true, the Big Bang Theory could be completely wrong. And also, one thing that made me think, we know the divine is eternal. We know that there is an underlying intelligence that runs through all of us that we share, a consciousness that is unified and
mm,
united, that I belong to, that you belong to, that even this table and this microphone and the equipment we're recording on belongs to at a level. It is all consciousness, right? That is eternal. And we know it's eternal. We're not going anywhere. And if something's eternal, would there be a Big Bang? Would there be a starting point? Or has it
mm,
always been? And how, as humans, because I know you study psychology, have you ever seen anything
yeah.
about how humans and time is represented, or how time can be distorted? Maybe Mandela effects, the deja vu feeling, the
Mm.
dream in something, and then living it out. Experiencing something and then doing it exactly again, being like, I've done this. I've lived this out, literally. Like,
Yeah, it's wow, there's a lot to unpick there. A lot to unpick. Uh,
yeah,
Look, in terms of the Big Bang, it's the only theory we have at the moment that can explain a lot in terms of our physics and kind of it explains the expansion of the universe. We're still expanding,
yeah,
and we're expanding at quicker than the speed of light, which is insane.
yeah,
What we're expanding into, I have no idea. But who knows? Who This is the thing about life. Who we think we have a theory, and then it just gets blown out the water. Um,
yeah.
I personally think there was more. I think the Big Bang is just one of many Big Bangs,
Oh wow.
and I think the whole scale of everything is just too big for us, the
Yeah,
species. Um, in time and our relationship with time, it's oh man, again, it's such a big topic because what really is time? I think we've just created time to make a routine for our species almost. Um,
yeah,
and I think who I was 10 years ago as a young person, I'm the same person today, just with a lot more experiences, and I've just aged. Um,
yeah,
I think people put too much pressure on time, and they rely on it too much. We're always looking at the clock. We're always panicking we're late to this place. We're just so controlled by it.
Yeah,
And really, if you sit back and access the consciousness that we all are, the funny thing is time stops. It
yeah,
just stops. And consciousness isn't worried about time. It's outside of time. It's always there. It's always been.
yeah.
And I think that's why it's incredibly important to people need to slow down. It feels like sometimes we're going so quick as a species, we're going to explode any minute.
Do you know what?
Do you know what I mean by that? We're just so chaotic. The world has gone so chaotic. It needs to slow down and really think about what direction are we taking here.
Yeah,
And that's very hard. It's very hard to do. As a collective, you know.
it's interesting when you say about time and it being so controlling, because I feel it. I feel when I've got to the end of the week and I've finished martial arts teaching, then I finished my martial arts class, and it gets to that's 7:30. That all finishes at night on a Friday evening, and then I get home and then we put dinner on, and I make a coffee. I finally get that chance to sit down. I feel this freedom that I have the evening, and then I have a Saturday, which it feels I have this whole day this Saturday, and potentially a Sunday if I'm lucky, but definitely I normally have this Saturday, this one day a week where if I want to do something, I have the freedom to be able to do it. If I want to go somewhere, if I want to do something, and then it comes right back round to a Monday, and I feel like, okay, that freedom's gone because I've labelled it a Monday. I feel like right now I need to do this instead, and it's all the stuff that doesn't feel as free. It's the school runs, and it's the cleaning, it's the cooking, it's the going to work, it's all the stuff that we've been caught up in, and it's that sort of stuff that we've put time onto. It's that sort of stuff that we've labelled, and so time can really put pressure on us as individuals, depending on our circumstances. Obviously, if you're a really, really, really busy person all of the time, which is how life, if you want to get anywhere in this life, like really get anywhere, if you really want to build a really nice life for your family, you need to work, 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 work. And I talk about coming back from work a little bit, and I talk about that a lot. And that's hard for especially the older generation, people a bit older than us. It's hard for them to hear, because if you didn't work, and still to this day, if you don't work really, really hard, you're not going to end up with much. You'll end up, if you work a little bit, you're going to end up with a nice bit, maybe able to get yourself food and bits and bobs, and maybe have a little car and things like that, if you do a little bit of work. But people that are really, really busy all the time, the way life has been designed like that to keep us busy is to stop us from slowing down. Because I tell you,
Yeah.
if I didn't quit working full-time jobs, 50, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, if I didn't quit that 4.5 years ago, I would never, ever, ever have had my spiritual awakening, ever. And so what happened was I was working all the time, working full-time as we all do, 5, 6 days a week in the warehouses, cleaning jobs, you name it, driving jobs, I was doing it. And I was just getting so stressed out, and I couldn't sleep. I was just really unhealthy. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I was like, is this it now? Humping boxes around in a warehouse, is this it for 40 years until I die? Like, is this it? And it was just breaking me down mentally. I was so depressed that me and the wife swapped roles, where she went to work and I decided to stay at home, look after the kids, to just give me a break from work, because I've been doing it non-stop since I was 16 years old, from job to job to job to job to job, and wondering why I can't stick at a job, because I was just doing dead-end jobs that meant nothing to me just to get a wage to try and get by. And well, that is soul destroying. You can only do that for so long till you get physically and mentally ill. And I got mentally ill. I got so depressed, and you could see it physically on me. I was bloated. I was red in the face, high blood pressure. I wasn't sleeping at night. I couldn't eat properly. And when I was eating, you're eating junk because you haven't got time because you're working. And so I took the time. Me and the wife swapped. She went to work. She found a job that she loved to do. So amen to that. She's happy. She's still in that job to this day. And I've still taken a step back. And I'm still, what I like to think is I'm very coming out the end of my dark night of the soul,
Yeah.
which has been going on for 4 years. A long dark night of the soul. A lot of crying, a lot of meditation, a lot of old memories from 30 years ago surfacing that I didn't realize I'd buried. Where the hell did that come from? Kind of
Yeah.
moments. Like, what was that? That was a horrible negative emotion that I'd buried for 30, 35 years sometimes from our childhood, James. So I had the time to stop, right? I went against the grain. The woman was going to go to work and the man was going to look after the children and do the school runs. But it gave me, while the kids were at school, it gave me that hour, that 2 hours, whatever, in the middle of the day where I decided I'm going to meditate. I'd run out of options. You know, I was still drinking alcohol at the time and I couldn't seem to quit. And that was a thorn in my side. The alcohol was at the time. But, you know, God bless, I'm coming up 17 months sober. So that's awesome. But couldn't have done that without God.
Congratulations.
Yeah, couldn't have done it without all of the spirituality, the meditation, God, love.
Yeah.
You know, you being able to help me on my spiritual journey. You know, everything falls into place when you take that time back. You slow down. You go
Yeah.
within, and you start having memories come back from things, and you know, positive memories as well, like my near death experience. You know, visions that came true, and being like, whoa, having experiences and seeing things and magical colors, and I know yourself, James, you've had amazing experiences. We used to call each other all the time and be like, I was meditating and this happened, and I was like, what? No way! I was
Yeah.
meditating and this happened, and practicing the projection, the astral traveling, and the remote viewing, practicing these things and feeling energy. And it's exactly what you said. The whole world needs to slow down and just go inside and just find out the truth. And every single one of us, I urge us, every single one of us can do it. People don't believe they have the power.
Yeah.
They've been told, they've been brainwashed to believe that they're no good. But we believe on this channel that
Yeah.
every single soul is worthy of love, is worthy of finding their unique power. And I believe that together as a community, we can do that. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe to this channel because it helps the channel grow. We've still got more to talk about. But if by you liking and subscribing, you're getting the message out there, everything we talk about here is relevant. It's relevant to me, to my
Yeah.
brother, to all of our universal brothers and sisters, because we're all learning on this journey. You might be in spirituality for 4 months, 4 years, or 40 years, but the more we uncover, this is one thing with spirituality, the more you realize you think you know, the more you realize you don't know. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah. And look, if anyone else wants to come on, this is the beauty of technology as well. We can all three of us talk
yeah, that would be amazing
conversations, you know.
to get three, you know, a couple guests on the
Yeah, like
show. That would be if any of
I
our
just love to hear other people's stories, you know.
that's it. If any of our people in our community, whether you're subscribed or even not subscribed, and you feel like there's something you need to share, we know personally how isolating spirituality can be. You know, we're so lucky that we have each other. I mean, I would have gone mad if I couldn't have messaged my brother or had these conversations, because you need to get this stuff out because it's too magical to hold inside. It's too important to keep to yourself. If you've had spiritual experiences, if there's something you can share, please message the channel, leave a comment on this video. I will get back to you and we can organize a time and a date where we could all come on the show and just listen and just go over some topics. You know what I mean? It would be amazing. It'd be amazing because we cover everything
Yeah.
on this little podcast over here. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, and I just to you said something there, and it just hit with me as when you go on your spiritual journey, it can be terrifying. And I think for me, when I realised I wasn't my ego, and I'm something else. I'm actually the person watching my ego. You feel this separation, don't you? Like, wow, I'm not that person. You know.
Yeah,
And although yes, we are that person, we are that ego, but we are more than that. You know, we are consciousness. We are the observer.
that's
And it
right.
is, although it's very isolating at the start, I think it brings this kind of great
Yeah,
life, where you feel more in control and you feel more composed as a person. You get to choose exactly how your character can be. You know. And last thing on the time subject,
yeah.
I read this book called 4,000 Weeks, and that's how many weeks we have to live if we live to like 80 years old. It's
Wow.
only 4,000, and it's terrifying. So, of advice I want to give people is yeah, is you need to look at your life as one, not separate it into months, years, days, because then we kind of drag out things that really mean things to us.
100%. Yeah.
So I always say to myself, I've got 4,000 weeks on this planet. What am I doing with myself?
So that's
You
a
know, I want
really
to
good
live
way
these
of looking at
4,000
it.
weeks.
Yeah,
See your
no.
life as one big picture, not just loads of little monthly dates. You know, I've actually got, and it's right here. It's a really good book.
Oh, wow. There it is.
Yeah, yeah,
4,000 weeks.
4,000 weeks, and it's uh, yeah, it's an incredible read. It certainly changes your perspective. Um, but yeah, no, it's really interesting. So yeah, it'd be interesting to hear other people's views as well. Definitely.
Well, that's it. And I think you said something that's really important because on this show, I always say that we're not trying to get rid of the human in us. That's not what we're trying to do. We're not
Mm.
trying to disregard the ego. We're not trying to throw away the human so we're just left with a soul. We're trying to get the message out there that human beings are the spiritual being. Human beings are the species that can hold the love of God inside them, that can connect to the divine. One of the only species in the universe that can carry that love and light of God that was made in the image of God. And that is what I try and promote
Yeah.
on the show, that humans are special. We're not trying to say this human thing's just a joke and what you really are is just this spirit being. What we're saying is we are spiritual beings that have thought into creation, manifested into creation, this beautiful, beautiful creation that is called a human being, that is so magical, that is able to embody our souls, and with practice and in time, can not only embody the soul, can then start to walk in the divine power and do things like telepathy, self-healing, a manipulation of energy, manifesting physical objects out of thin air, all of the stuff that you would see, say, Marlin doing back in the wizard days with his Hollywood, with his stick, abracadabra. Absolutely 100% true. If human beings come back
Mm.
into their full power. And I've heard about the 12th strand. I believe it's the 12th strand or the 13th strand. I believe it's the 12th strand of DNA, and they call it the God gene. Scientists call it the God gene, and at the minute, it doesn't do anything. We have 12 strands of DNA, and 11 of them are all active online. The one gene that doesn't do anything, I've heard a lot that when the solar flash comes this year, and I believe to be June, July is the catalyst event, and I could talk about that in a
Mm.
second. But June, July, I believe the big solar flash, the big great awakening that is going to happen this year is going to activate, because we're all made of light. Every cell in our body is made of light. We're going to be hit with a solar flare, a flash of light so powerful it activates the God gene, and our powers start to come back online. And could you just imagine a world where all of a sudden people can hear your thoughts? So we have to start not only acting. This is why it's so important, and I practice this now all the time. I don't try and just act in a way of love and have people believe I'm this loving guy. In my thoughts, I try to be loving. I try to give love to the universe. I try, if I find myself judging somebody, I try not. I shouldn't be judging. If I find a situation that hurts me, that pains me, I try and look for the lesson. And that is how simple living in spirituality is. It isn't so
Mm.
difficult that you have to be traveling outside of your body all the time and doing this stuff. Although that going into a world where that's going to be the norm is going to be the case, where people are going to know that they can go and find out for themselves the Hall of Amente or the Akashic records. Find out for ourselves how to heal our own illnesses. That's the world that I honestly 100% in my soul know that we're going into. But this is the power
Yeah, and
of the human being.
I like to think of our species. This might be far fetched, but I'm sure some people out there will get it. Is our species is like the bridge to the physical realm, to the quantum realm, where there's all possibilities.
Yeah,
Like, and people might think, oh, well, what does that mean? Well, we have the ability to think of thoughts and bring it into reality.
yeah,
And that comes with great responsibility. And I think people need to really understand that
yeah,
we can think what we like and then shape reality around us.
yeah,
Example, if I want to create some music and go, I don't know, stand on the streets of Australia to perform,
yeah,
I can actually make that happen. Or if I want to create a piece of art, or if I want to create a food that tastes a certain way, I can
yeah,
shape reality. And that's why I bridge over to the quantum realm where everything is possible. And I think when people start realizing they have that power, they have that responsibility, then they'll look at their life in a different way. Just Steve down the street going to the pub. He's more than that.
yeah,
He's a
yeah,
spiritual soul that
yeah,
is over multiple dimensions.
yeah.
I think people need to start waking up to the power we hold as a species.
Yeah, because I think the power, one of the greatest powers we have, which is underestimated, is the power of the word, of the spoken word.
Yeah.
And there's been
Mm.
scientific studies done. I think it was a Japanese scientist who had a jar of water, 3 jars of water. One they left completely alone and just completely ignored it. One, they went up to the jar of water every single day and said, I love you, water. You're amazing. You're the best water in the world. And then the other jar they went up to and said, you're horrible. You're disgusting. You're the worst jar of water. I hate you. And it was saying, I hate you to this jar of water. And then when they got the water out and measured it under the telescopic microscope, the one that they said, I love you, the cells were crystalline, perfect, unified, perfectly symmetrical, beautiful cells, absolutely beautiful cells in this water. Couldn't have been healthier. The jar that was ignored was looking a bit rubbish. It was a bit out of shape. It was a bit nasty looking, but it wasn't too bad. The one that they said, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, the cells in that were broken, they were misshaped, they were ugly, there was like bits of mold starting to grow in the water, there was parasites starting to grow in the water. And so this proved they'd been in the exact same conditions. The only difference was one jar of water got love, one jar of water got ignored, and the other one got told it was hated. That was the power of
Mhm.
the word. The cells, conscious, heard the words and reacted to it. So when we tell
Yeah.
ourselves, I'm no good, I'm no good, I'm rubbish, I can't do this, we are physically hurting ourselves. Physically. Our
Yeah.
cells are hearing
Yeah.
us and saying, oh, I'm no good, am I? And they're disshaping. They're becoming sick. They're becoming ill because they're being told they're no good all the time. If we just crack on with the
Mm.
day and just go along around the world, all of the subliminal messages and the people around us are going to tell us we're no good. You're an idiot. Get out of the way. You can't drive. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then we're going to hear all the stuff we heard as when we were a child. Now, shut up. You should be seen and not heard. Well, that's going to stick. That's why it may sound silly, but
Yeah.
self-love and self-positive talk. I tell myself all the time, I say, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm loved, and I'm wealthy. I'm happy, I'm healthy,
Yeah.
I'm loved,
Yeah.
and I'm wealthy. And I tell myself that
Yeah.
all the time. And I could just walk down the street. And it might be a couple of days I forget, but then I'll be walking down the street and just remember, you know what? I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm loved, and I'm wealthy. Because wealth comes in many, many ways and forms. And it's important to realize how lucky
Yeah.
we truly are in this day and age. You know?
Yeah, and it goes. I did a test on myself. Is I suggest everyone do it. I woke up and I thought, right, I'm gonna just quickly change who I think I am for today. I'm gonna pretend to be this overconfident, really nice guy, who's very well educated and is respected. And you know, I
Yeah.
went
Yeah.
around and voice,
Pedigree.
and I yeah, yeah, I made sure I spoke well and I spoke to people and I put on a smile, and everyone gave me that feedback. That that kind of uh, reinforced the belief that I pretended to be. So all of a sudden, people were like talking to me back, and like, whoa, like this is, this is someone that I need to respect. And that is the power that the story that we tell ourselves. Whatever story that you are telling yourself is what people will give you back. Um, so yeah, fully agree that it's so important to love yourself,
Yeah.
and kind of realize that the power that your thoughts have over your reality, because it's incredible. It's incredible.
Well, that's it. That's it. And speaking of reality, I know we've been time hasn't time disappeared again. Time's just when we talk.
Yeah,
Time is irrelevant in these conversations. Do you know what I mean?
doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. And speaking of reality, I've got down here. This is a fun little topic. This is because we can go deep. We can go deep, and this
Yeah.
might be deep for some people, but I think this is a bit of fun and possibly holds a lot of truth in it, and that's the Antarctic. All right, I know we've changed topic here, haven't we? So this is it.
Completely switched.
I've done a little bit of research earlier. Right now, the Antarctic. It's a big part of our planet. It's very cold. What do we know about it? Right, it's illegal to travel to most areas. You can travel to apparently very small parts of it, and scientists and certain special people are allowed certain parts of it. We know it gets to minus 130 degrees Fahrenheit or
Oh, bit chilly.
minus 90 degrees Celsius if you're from the UK. So we know it gets cold. We know it's very hard to get there, and we're probably not allowed there even if we do get there. But apart from that, we don't know much else. It's cold, but there is somebody. There is somebody who might know something, and I don't think they're around anymore. Because in the mid 1900s, an American Navy explorer called Admiral Richard Byrd Jr. went to Antarctic. He did. He went there, man. He went to Antarctic, right? This guy, Richard Byrd Jr., right? And he was taking photographs of the wildlife and the birds, funnily enough. Right, he was exploring the place. Right, he's doing his thing, doing his business over in Antarctic in minus 90 degrees centigrade. Right, minus 130 just sounds cold, doesn't it? He's over there photographing, and he comes across an underground civil. And I'm going to put a map up for this bit because there's a map on this. He found an underground civilization called Agatha. I wonder where Agatha Christie. No, it called Agatha. Let's not get off topic. An underground civilization called Agatha, a land of advanced races, right? And on this map, it had let's see, it had a city. Had a city. This honestly, this map it had Agatha in the middle, and then it had a city over here called, what was it, Batten or Shambannon? Don't know if Batten. I think it was called the city of Shambatten. Right?
That sounds right.
That sounds right, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah. Everyone knows the city of Shambatten, right? And it had a mountain
Oh yeah.
range. It had a mountain range under the ice, right? This big mountain range and all that. And I'm thinking, whoa, that's a big bit of land to be hidden under the ice. But what's interesting is in 1957, a load of countries got together and said, nah, we need to protect this part of the earth because obviously it was flooded with tourists. Obviously, there was tourists up there dropping their Dr. Pepper cans everywhere. What's the worst that could happen? There was no one there. What did it need protecting against? But they went up there and they said, nah, 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 nah. This place needs protecting. And there was a law put in place. I don't know what that law was called. But, it was the treaty, the Antarctic Treaty, it was called. But straight away I'm thinking, okay, so there's a part of Earth that we're actually banned from going. And it is owned by multiple countries. So there's something very interesting going on beyond the ice, James. What do you reckon? Do you reckon there is a secret underground civilization called Agatha?
Well, the first thing that came to mind is I thought you said like there's an advanced racist. I just thought there was a highly intelligent man being racist to everyone.
Well, and that's why we need protecting from him. We need protecting,
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
don't go there. You might knock your race. Probably. There's loads of theories. There's a theory that the Antarctic, there's a massive hole that goes inside the Earth, and there's an advanced civilization that still lives there. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
If there is an advanced civilization still there, it wouldn't surprise me.
No.
I don't have a clue what goes on these days, really. But yeah, I know there was the pyramids, weren't there? There's the pyramids that were found, and there's speculation over what that was.
Yeah, well, what's crazy is on this map.
Yeah, I don't know any more than that.
Well, on the map, of Agatha, this land, this ancient races of things, this ancient races underground, right? There was a mountain range, and I thought, wow, this looks like something out of Lord of the Rings. And what scientists have done is they've actually gone back to this area, and they've done that sonar laser technology scanning, which can go underground and show you what's underneath the ground. And they have found a mountain range under there. They've actually found a mountain range.
Yeah.
And I think that's
But
crazy.
they used that technology for the Amazon rainforest, didn't they? And they found that whole civilization.
Yeah.
But listen, it could be something, and or it could just be the beauty of our world. It creates these astonishing structures, but who knows? What on it? Go on. If someone's to say, you have to say what it is, what would you say?
In Antarctic, okay, what would I say it is? I would say. Let me think. Let me think. I think that there is an intelligent species that was on this planet first. And I believe that the poles, the North and the South Pole, have not always been. In fact, they've proven they're not always where they've been, because there's such thing as a polar flip, where the actual axes of the Earth tilts every so many thousand years. We're actually in one at the minute. It's happening very slowly. But if you look at where North used to be, we're like 6 degrees off North, where it used to be. The Earth has moved like 6 degrees, whatever it is. In the comments, please let me know if that's accurate. I know it's a certain amount of degrees. We've moved already over the past so many years. So the actual axes, so if there was an advanced species that used to live on land, like land we live on now, and where we live now used to be frozen, but they were advanced and they knew about they knew about the polar flip, they knew that this is the way things were going to go. Maybe they decided, we're not going to move from our land, and we're going to build a kind of underground civilization that when it freezes over the top, will survive for the next 22,000 years, but it flips again. And so There's a lot of hidden civilizations under the ice and pyramids and things. You know what I mean? And we assume because it got so cold there, we assume that there's no people, that people were the first there. No. I believe there's an ancient civilization that is there, that was there first, and we stumbled across them, and they said, because we assume that if we found another civilization, they're going to act like humans. They're going to act from a place of fear. And they're going to want to just kill us and attack us and get rid of us because they were there first, because that's what people would do, right? We assume that's how we're going to be treated. But that is not the way that nature works. Nature, by its very nature, coordinates. So all strongest life may possibly live. Everything has a chance of survival. And if something's very small and it has a very small chance of survival, it makes billions of them, like plankton or like flies. There's such a big chance plankton's going to be eaten. It has to make billions of them, so it is going to survive. Life will live, and that is the underlying consciousness in all of us. So other higher intelligent species know this. They know cooperation is the nature of nature. There is a give and a take in nature. Some things take, some things give, and that's how nature works. And in more intelligent species are going to see us and say to us, look, yep, we're here, right? You've seen our technology. We could wipe you out with a flash. Every single one of you, we could blow this planet up, and we're multi-planetary. We live in multiple star systems. We can travel at the speed of light or faster. We can teleport across space. We're only on this planet out of the love and respect for the divine, because other high intelligent species are going to know. It's going to be natural that they're connected to divinity, to this thing called love, to this thing called God. And they know that humans carry God inside of them. They are not there. Other species, there are, I've heard, negative species out there. Of course, there's going to be polarity all over the universe of good and bad, of light and dark. That's going to exist. But there is so many positive species out there that protect the human species, not only from other other intelligent species that are non-human potentially, but from ourselves. There have been times. It's not a coincidence that when we first discovered the nuclear bomb and we went to blow ourselves up back in the 1950s, that they came down and showed themselves and turned off the nuclear bombs. They turned off the devices and then turned them back on again, turned them off and played with them as if to show us, hey, we're in control here. Don't you go thinking you're going to go blowing up this whole planet, because we all need it. They live here too. And they don't only live out there on the ice. I honestly believe that they live in our oceans. They believe that, places where humans are not, because they know what we're like as a species. Again, on an individual level, because we haven't been brought up with the truth, we're gonna fear. We're gonna fear. What is this? In fact, we've been brought up to believe that if aliens come down from the movies, they're gonna just blow up the White House and they're just gonna blow up Earth. So we're gonna naturally fear them. We need to remember that every single thing in this universe is made of unconditional love, even the most horrible things, and that's hard for people to hear. But everything comes ultimately from a source that is unconditional love, that loves all of us, that loves me, that loves you, that loves the worst of us, that wants the worst of us to do better, to get better, to come back home into the love and into the light. And so, yeah, from what I've learned through spirituality and being told, this is the thing, James, I was told people can't leave their body. I was brought up, when you die, there's nothing. I was told that if you're brought up to believe in God, you're silly, you're an outcast, you're an idiot. It wasn't the in thing to do, to believe in anything spiritual. And in a lot of circles, I am still looked at as absolutely crazy and just maybe, I don't know, maybe a bit stupid by some people. But that's absolutely fine, because we're all on our path. And it just so happened that our paths in this lifetime was to wake up. And that's what these videos are about. And we're in the generation, James, of the second wave of light workers, where literally our job as souls, I mean, we can have physical jobs in the physical world. Let's not forget that we're still living in a physical world, having a physical experience. And we came here for a physical experience. But part of our physical experience is to remember is that we're love and we're light. And our job, our sole job right now, I believe, James, is to spread this message. And there is nothing more important that we can do as souls for our brothers and sisters all over the universe. There's nothing more important than what we can do is to spread this message right now that we are love, we are unity, and most important, we never ever die. And if you have lost somebody and it is hurting, I promise you, me and James are no different. James lost mum when he was 10 years old. I was 14 when we lost our mum. So we've lost a very, very important person in our life and had to live without that person for a long, long time. But guess what? It was through that trauma that kept us looking to the skies, asking the bigger questions. Will we ever see our mum again? Will we see our best friends again? Our nan, the people we've lost along the way. Will we see them again? Well, the answer, I can promise you, and I wouldn't say this if I didn't mean it on the bottom of my heart, is yes, yes, yes. We see our loved ones again, and we live eternally. And so if you feel like you're not quite getting it right in this life, remember it's perfect. You're just where you're meant to be, and you get another shot at it if you so wish to. You know what I mean? It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, I would. First of all, I apologise if my signal's bad. But yeah, no, the last thing I would say is we lose our ego, we lose our character, but we all have that other side in us that our energy never dies. Energy can't die.
That's right.
And it is shared. It is shared with consciousness within everything, and that is where we live on. Even scientists said, well, if energy can't die, then why do we have to die? We don't die. And I think that's what connects us all to other species, and it connects us all to the universe.
Yeah, 100%.
No, it's reassuring to know.
No, beautifully said. I mean, it's been a great conversation again. It's been a great conversation. And I want to thank you for being on the channel again. Like I said at the beginning, you're like Boomerang James, I'm going to have to call you. You just keep coming back, which is great. It's great. We get have these amazing conversations. Like I said earlier, if you haven't, like and subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. And it helps the channel grow of unity and love. We're trying to get the message out there that each one of us are unique fingerprints on the hand of the divine themselves. And I want to thank you for being down here on Earth with me and James and all of us at this great time of awakening. It is tough, but it is beautiful. And if there's one thing we like on Earth, it's a little bit of beauty. And so till next time, take care, much love. Goodbye for now. And we'll see you soon. And James, we'll speak to you soon. I'm sure it won't be long till you're back on the show.
Yes. Yeah, no, I look forward to it. I do love these conversations. So yeah, thank you for having me again.
No, amazing. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Thank you guys for watching. You've been amazing. I hope you've got loads out of this video. We love making these videos for you. It is our passion. It is our pleasure. It is our motivation that keeps us moving forward. So till next time, please take care. We will see you soon. Keep out there, keeping the unity and the love together. But don't forget, you're an individual soul having an individual experience. So love yourselves and be kind to yourselves in this great time of awakening. Consciousness is rising. You are changing, morphing into the spiritual being that you were born to be. Your birth given right with your God-given powers. It's a magical time, and there's not much more we can say about that. Now, is there? So, take care. I love you all, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Take care. Take care.
Bye.
There's not much to do when all I can is thinking about you. Not doing well, don't know where you are, 'cause you're not here. It's been way too long.